good people, welcome to my channel Grandma Frida. I appreciate every effort and every time you put in to come and watch my videos, and I just say thank you so much. If you're new to this channel, please welcome. I am on the road to 100 subscribers, and I would appreciate if you subscribe to my channel to get me there, and please like my videos and share them and hit that notification bell so that when I upload new videos you will be notified. Welcome to my channel where we discuss issues related to retirement. Today we are going to focus on decluttering and downsizing. When I retired close to 7 years ago, I came to discover I had so much stuff, some which I did not need. I had acquired this stuff over 60 years in my life through purchases and gifts and inheritance from family. And reality set into me that I really don't need some of the things that I have. And at the same time, I have things that I really don't need, but they were quite sentimental to me and I didn't know what I was going to do with them. Anyway, I had to declutter and to downsize because I was also changing residence. Imagine when you retire at 60 plus years, how much you have acquired in your life. A lot of electronics and the wardrobe, kitchen appliances, things that belong to children, toys, everything that you can ever think of. And we always have that tendency of just storing up most of these things. You don't realize sometimes, and sometimes you realize, but because you have some attachment to some of these things, you just keep piling, and at the end of it, you find you have such a big pile of things in your house that you really don't require. So that's what I was facing at that particular time. I had to get rid of quite a lot of things. One, because some of the things that I owned had actually outlived their usefulness in my life. Secondly, some of those things were not really viable at that time because of change of technology and change of fashion. So they were not trendy and I could not even use them, but I still kept them. And some of the things that I owned, I discovered I really loved them. There are things that had been given me, there are things that had been given to me by special people, and I had some sort of attachment to them. And others, I had attachment to them because of the amounts I had used to purchase them or some history behind them. But I still had to. It was an emotional moment when I started decluttering. You have a choice how you want to declutter. You can do it room by room, or you can do it according to the stuff. Either you start with electronics, kitchen appliances, or your wardrobe. I began with my wardrobe. And one of the things that I came across that I found so difficult to dispose of were some of my suits, which I had used so much money to purchase, and the clothes that I had used during my parents' funeral. I was so attached to these things, but I started asking myself, do I really still need those clothes? I had to make decisions. I went next to electronics and related gadgets, which were obsolete in that they had really outdone their time and they could not be repaired. And some of them, which were personally mine, were not effective or usable anymore because of change of technology, and two, because of the fact that they are damaged. So I had just to get rid of those things. The other place that I had to move into and really get out and declutter was my kitchen. I had acquired a lot of things in the kitchen by virtue of the fact that, if my generation will remember, we used to have something called merry-go-round, where in groups we would collect money and then most of us focused on purchasing utensils. And then I discovered the world has changed. You necessarily don't need to host people in your house. You can host some of the friends outside in restaurants, or things have changed in terms of catering. We have outside catering. You can outsource the catering. Those are some of the things that came into my mind, which should also come into your mind. And I realized I didn't need some of them, but oh my God, there are things that you really still hold on to, especially in the kitchen, because there are some things that had been given me by my mother, and I was feeling like I can't just get rid of them. Among those many things was this tumbler. This had been given to me by my mom, and she told me she had been given by her father when she was getting married. And I really held on to this thing, but I've never used it. And so many other things which I got from my mom and from particular friends. I was so sentimental on them and quite holding on to them, but most of them I really had to release them. I just had to let go. In my decluttering and downsizing journey, I had to deal with paperwork, a lot of books, a lot of papers, magazines, and so much, some which belonged to me and others which belonged to members of my family and my children. You have to really take time when it comes to paperwork. You have to identify what is important and what needs to be destroyed. And once you have done that, from what you have identified as important, some of them you really just need to digitize them. And some you have to give them back to the owners and retain some and keep them the best way you can. But for the ones that you have to get rid of, especially books that are still relevant, donate them to learning institutions or to a library or to people of the profession or the interest that you have. The most difficult thing that is quite emotional when you are decluttering are photographs. You remember those photographs we used to have on our walls, and some of them we picked them from our parents, and it's generational because you relate to the people in those photographs and you recall the albums from those old times. We still keep them up to now. What do you do with this kind of things? And remember, our children, and maybe even their children, don't relate with the people in this photograph. So it doesn't really matter a lot to them. It only matters to you. There are so many ways you can deal with such photographs. Maybe you digitize and save on various platforms that are there online so that when you require them, you can look at them. Apart from photographs, we also have our personal portraits, which we really love because of history behind them and the love we have maybe for those particular people. You can donate to a home or to a library. Some of the things that really occupy space in our houses are things that belonged to your children. And if your children have moved out or they are still within, but they have outgrown some of the things that you still keep, please dispose of them. Free your space. Don't have things under your bed and on top of your wardrobes and heaped all over. Free yourself of some of these things because there are so many places to dispose of things that you really don't require. We have charities, you have friends and relatives and even neighbors. You do have churches and libraries and institutions. Just let go of what you don't need. There are issues you have to take into consideration when decluttering. Is it something that you really use? Have you used it for the last 1 year or even 2 years? Is it something that is still trendy? Has technology changed such that that item is now obsolete? Is it damaged beyond repair? Is it something that you can do without? Those are things that you really must battle with when you are decluttering. And I had to fight through a lot of things, and I thank God I did it because I finally decluttered. Sometimes we hold on to things with that notion that we are going to hand over to our children or to particular people. My friend, things have changed, and the generation that I see today, they may really not be interested in some of the things that we keep holding on to, because trends are different, their interests are different, and technology keeps on changing, and fashion and what have you keeps on changing. So you give your daughter or friend your suit of 1970 for what? We don't need all the things that we own. We really don't need. We need so little of the things that we own. As years go by, you start forgetting things. You may have this here and you're busy all over the house looking for it. The other thing that is so common are keys. You want to go somewhere, you are holding the bunch of keys in your hands, but you are all over the house looking for those keys. When you reach there, you need space. You really need space, and two, you require absolutely very few things. If your house is light, it becomes easy to check for those kind of things. So for you out there, you don't need all that you have. Lighten your house and have things that you really require and they have value to your life. Thank you so much for listening to me, and please subscribe to my channel if you have not subscribed. Like my videos and share with friends and kin so that you help me grow. Let's meet in my next video. Ciao.